Hello, this is Dr. Young. I'm going to go over your week 9 lecture. Chapter 9 is from Kaizen to Innovation. So at this point, we've done Kaizen a million times. We're going through the process over and over and over again, trying to decrease decrease time, space, all the waste. But this can be used to innovate and create new products, new services, new ideas. So diffusion innovation is a new idea that is integrated and coordinated for use with other products. And disruption innovation is the appearance of something new that generates hype, falls, and then levels out into mainstream use. So these are two types of innovation that can occur. And so I guess an example would be, disruption would be an example that would be when Steve Jobs came out with the iPhone. And then diffusion is more like a new gizmo, some gadget comes out, it's really popular for a while, and then it kind of fades away a little bit, but it's just something that maybe is, available, but not the fad thing anymore. Thinking about innovation through the find, face, frame, form framework makes us think about customer problems to solve rather than innovation gaps to fill. So frame the problem as a matter of alternatives. And engineers and customers must generate solutions for true innovation. So in that case, you want to make sure that you want to take Kaizen from, like here, where you've got your customer and your engineers. What can be done? What do customers want? What do customers value? You want to make sure that you understand the innovation theory through the lean lens. So it's definitely different than the disruption narrative that we just talked about, like some brand new product that changes everything, that's not, it's new, it's never been seen before. Basically, the iPhone was a small computer and a phone, pretty much. But the lean starting point for this is different. It's intent to solve a problem that a customer has. Rather than looking for new things that a technology might be able to do for them. So once we found a problem we can solve, we can think about whether or not there's any available tech that will allow us to solve the problem. So, what you would need to start with this would be some type of direction for improvement, whatever that is. And then you're going to need to kind of talk about alternatives. Do we have the technology to solve the problem? If we don't, how can we create that? And you're going to need engineering help for that. So from a customer values perspective, an innovative product would obviously offer a better way for customers to get something done, or it's unique, it's cost effective and easy to use, and it can benefit society. Those are obviously value points for a customer. But if there's no capability for that, there can't be any innovation. So you have to have capabilities, and that's going to be individual competencies. You have to have the capability to deliver on quality at a lower cost. So, and we talked about what the customer wants. The innovations requires a lot of understanding of customers, their lifestyles, what they want, what they need. You would have to kind of know how they live their lives and how they do things to be able to solve the problems and provide value for them. It's difficult. But it also requires a lot of understanding of tech. What's possible now with technology? What's possible with production capability? And there's an example of in a company called Produtech on page 228. It starts at the bottom. But it did help. That whole example kind of gives you an idea of what they did and how they had to change their technical department to think about solving new problems with newer technologies. So I would read about that. It's a pretty good example, actually. And this is, we're going to talk about Office Kaizen. This is a shorter presentation because we're really getting into maintaining Lean at this point. We've really talked about the hard work and the initial steps, but now we're getting into maintenance. So with Office, we want to talk about, this is what I like to talk about the most, probably because it is easy to just look at Lean through the lens of manufacturing, but it doesn't have to be just manufacturing. So we're going to talk about how it would work in an office. So Team 4, we're going back to Team 4. Remember, remember how Team 4 was the order entry part of the project? Well, that is where we're going to talk about Office Kaizen. So, earlier we discussed targets for order entry. We will analyze the process for Office Kaizen that can be applied outside of manufacturing. It's more difficult to observe work in an office environment working on a computer. Actually, there's software that can record what you're doing on the screen and stuff like that, but it is a little bit more complex. Takt time for order entry is determined by using the equation. So in this scenario, the groups were divided into two. First group created a value stream map of the entire order process from the customer to shipment, and the second group timed how long that process took without any distractions. And they found waste in labor resources. Observing and questioning the order entry clerks to see if they had other tasks. And they were mapping out how the clerks actually spent their time and pulling out value-added work from non-value-added work. And then they created a flow that eliminates movements for operators in batch-to-flow conversion and ordering systems. So let's go back to the takt time. If you look on page 158, there's the equation. So they did the math, and they calculated the takt time for one person. And they did the observations here. They did the value stream mapping team. Basically, on page 161, you can see the order entry value stream map. So they have the total time and the customer acknowledgement. This is kind of similar to the thing I did at GE. Mine was a little bit different, but you can see that it takes 3 to 6 days from the time a customer enters an order until the goods are received. Now, they can't do anything with transportation here, but it takes 2 to 3 days just to acknowledge their order. So that's definitely something that the order entry department can work on. So you can see how that the principles can be applied to this easily. Then you look at what the resources are doing. What is everyone doing? All of their tasks. How much time do they spend doing their tasks? Then you look at how much are they how much time do they walk, wait, search, do other things? Those are all important because they're all factors in this. The reason why it takes so long for the orders to get acknowledged. Then you look at tech issues, lunch, email systems down, fax machines not working, whatever. Different things that are causing time to be wasted. So, all of these are factors. They had to establish, and if you read the whole case in the Office Kaizen chapter, it basically, there had to be new standard work rules for procedures. A new layout was needed to reduce walking and searching. The non-value adding time that they were using had to be reduced. So there's definitely issues there. They had to come up with an outline of how to deal with excess orders. They have problems with that. and how to allocate product. You had to change that as well. So these are all differences that they found. And the one key, oh sorry, I meant to hit that. One key thing to think about is that it's harder to see the workflow in this kind of environment than it is on the manufacturing floor, because it's not as observable. And standard work is important because it lays out the sequence, time, and methods required to do work. So it's very important to lay that out. Okay, that's really all for this week. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know, and I'll be happy to assist you. Thanks for listening.